That really gave Na'Vi a huge boost. Dendi skyrockets on his farm. He's just picked up the Yules and he's already sitting on 1,000 gold and he's about to farm a stack at the Ancients. This is bad news for LGD.
And still LGD's neutrals are warded. They've either had vision or a direct ward block for almost 15 minutes straight, Gods. And I don't think we've seen anything when it comes to the Ancient stacks. Just a single double stack here, and I mean, frankly, I'm not sure anyone can farm it. It seems LGD is going to play this like they did Game 1 versus Secret. Just fight. They got the early blink on Maybe, and they just walk down mid. They're looking for pressure here, but all the big spells are up. Havost has his own blink ready. Watch for the wraparound. Shao8 on the move. Under cover of smoke. He's in front, wants to get a ward down, but he's going to get revealed here along with Sylar. Havost, that's a rare sight. Sees heroes and blinks away. Normally, he's the one going in as the charge comes through. Connects an Arcstyle. He didn't see it coming. The Yules now comes out. Static Storm drops directly on top of Arcstyle along with the kinetic field. It's a whiff. And that may force Na'Vi to sack this tower as LGD rush in. Saniko falls prey to the rock. Maybe finding the combo play. Yep. And, well, no creep wave. Maybe they can't push in despite the kill.
And just the Bounty Hunter kill as well. They couldn't go for anything in return. The Tiny tethered up and with overcharge is not going to take much damage from like a Queen of Pain combo there. Although Sonic Wave also on cooldown being the big important thing. So I think that's where LGD are going to look to continue to apply pressure in this mid lane without Sonic Wave. Na'Vi just missing that little bit of firepower which they need to be able to bring down some of these tankier heroes. The Tiny sitting on over 1300 HP, Sylar over 1k HP. You need every little bit of damage you can get.
Dendi just sits back now as BKB is in the offlane, and once he gets it, not really much physical damage. With the Blink build, the Gyrocopter mostly magic damage for now. Dendi will be a bulwark in the front lines, but he does have to farm it first. And we still haven't seen the Na'Vi track gold really kick in. That is the worry for LGD. Even if the game is quite close now, one bad fight and suddenly it gets really bad. And there's a track onto a huge core hero, Sylar, glimpse, dunked, and chop, he's dead. That's a big kill, but maybe goes in anyway. So screw it, Dendi, the self-Yules plays again. Queen of Pain comes through, doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot as Dendi drops low. One more auto attack, they need a little more damage. They're not going to get it. Dendi walks away. Yao now stuck in the middle of a Boast and his cleaver. A Requiem to keep them back. Shao8 with a quick TP away. Barely escaping with their lives. LGD. Again, just outplayed. Na'Vi getting the jump, Na'Vi getting the picks, Na'Vi escaping on slivers of HP, time and again, and outfarming LGD to boot.
These Yule Scepters are just paying dividends. Dendi there with the self-Yules being able to kind of delay LGD's ability to damage him and bring him down. The Yule Scepter on the Queen of Pain as well, just being able to take one hero out of the fight temporarily so you can focus someone else. These have been great item pickups. Now when Funnick and Dendi reach their BKB timings, you mentioned it earlier, the physical damage just isn't there. The Tiny's going to take a long time to get to his Aghanim Scepter and whatever follow-up item he wants to go for. On the Gyrocopter, he's going to be going for a BKB, so he'll have like a Drums BKB build. He doesn't have much physical damage for some time. These BKBs give Na'Vi's cores a lot of survivability. Almost, they're kind of invincible during them. They can be locked down by a Spirit Breaker, but you're not going to be able to kill them.
Yeah, when LGD runs this strategy, it marks, I guess in some ways it is kind of their style, right? Even if they pick harder carries, they want to get active around that 10 to 20 minute mark, try to establish some momentum and advantage, then they go back and focus on their farming. But you compare it to, like, say, the way Secret plays a lot of these types of drafts, where they focus on farming for minute one, and it's a very stark difference. The result in this case is they don't have the best plan B for now. If Na'Vi get ahead, LGD have not geared up to just turbo farm in the mid game. They have the heroes for it, but they haven't really itemized to focus on it. Now Dendi sitting back, farming up the top lane, closing in on the BKB. The Yule's first Shadow Fiend was just so much more prevalent in the previous patch, as you can see from the percentages here. But it still is very viable.
Cost.
It's still very
a lot of
viable.
mana, yeah.
Much more, I guess, a little more situational nowadays. Here we go. Big smoke. Saniko, the one to reveal it. They plant a sentry. They dust as well. But all quickly, the Yule Scepters coming out again. Na'Vi using these to just disengage and frustrate LGD, who commit anyway. There's the call down from Sylar. Comes in for the backstep. They glimpse him out, but it's too late. Too dead off the bat. LGD, they just keep on banging their head against the brick wall. But this time, they're starting to make chunks of it fall away.
Well, yeah, Na'Vi have to be careful. The Yule Scepters can kind of delay things here, but it's not going to win them the fight straight up. There's still a lot of damage output from a gyrocopter at this stage of the game. Importantly, he just hit level 11. So that was a level 2 cooldown coming out. And LGD just had the number superiority. They had all their team rotating in, and this is a classic move for them, especially when they're a little bit behind. They'll make sure they take a fight with 5, smoke up maybe 3 or 4, have the relocate come in that case, and then come out on top, because it secures them a Roshan as well. Really, really helpful sequence of events for LGD.
It really reminds me of the TI4 finals, where it was just ROTK and Xiao8 butting heads game after game. Nobody's going to back down in that matchup, and this is just classic Xiao8. If it doesn't work, just try it again with more numbers. This guy is not afraid of a fight as a captain, and, well, Na'Vi a bit unprepared for it. They do get a tower top, the tier 1 falling as a trade, but LGD definitely going to be happy with that sequence of events. They TP on their gyro. There's a Queen of Pain in the neighborhood, but that gyrocopter, not really the target you want to be focusing right now if you're Na'Vi.
Yeah, not an easy kill. And this is, going for solo pickoffs on the gyro Tiny is never really reliable if you don't know where the Wisp is, because if he's seeing behind with a relocate out, well, that's often not a very easy save.
Through Funnick, and then they stop. They get the dunk, they get the kill. And here's a Midas now, so they are going to get a little bit of extra farm. They're also going to get an art style along the way. Na'Vi, it's really been their biggest issue here at the International 5, just getting picked apart one by one. We've seen it in multiple games, whether they hold a lead, whether it's even, or even with the deficit. As amazing as their team fights can be, sometimes they get a little spread out, and Spirit Breaker, Wisp, Tiny, this is the kind of draft that can really punish any mispositioning.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you maintain your composure and really have a clear plan. For Na'Vi, it doesn't feel like they're really grouping up as much as they should be. You look at what LGD have been doing, very methodical in the way that they're finding kills, grouping up when they need to, smoking as 3 with the Wisp plus Gyrocopter or Wisp plus Tiny not with them because they can relocate in if there's a big fight. If the 3 heroes just find a single pickoff, then they don't relocate. They only do so if needed. For Na'Vi, they're kind of spread apart, too thin, and don't have that same ability to back one another up.
Again, the charge, and again it's on Suniko. More and more, they seem to be zeroing in on him. The dust coming out. They have another strike at the ready, and Maybe's here. Toss, jump, all kinds of weird lag spikes going on in the air. He does his acrobatics, but when he comes back down to earth, it's just a crumpled corpse of a body. They have the BKB on Dendi now, and this has to be the centerpiece of their fights moving forward. It really feels like Na'Vi need to play around this, need to use it to their advantage. They make a move on Sylar top. He's not the BKB carrier, but here comes the relocate, as you mentioned, could be there momentarily if they want, and there it is.
Oh,
Saves
it's
him,
the glimpse!
No, he does come back. Sylar left alone. Artstyle will end up surviving this, and now they're going to be able to get the Wisp on the way back. Is there anything to tether to? Doesn't really look like it. Get ready for a call. It's going to be 2. Artstyle coming up big in the clutch. Na'Vi, much needed momentum. And most importantly, they're going to delay that gyrocopter BKB. Don't think he was able to purchase it before he went down in... Oh, no, he did. He got the BKB recipe. Well, that's good news for LGD. Still, Na'Vi, 2 kills to go in their way.
That's a big play with that glimpse. I don't know how much of that is like slightly lucky timing, because they didn't have vision of the Wisp. Maybe he saw like the tether. The millisecond you see that tether coming in, you just glimpse expecting the relocate out. But very clutch from Disruptor. That is a big kill to be getting on Sylar, who is kind of, I mean, we talk always about Sylar and Maybe, which is the real 1 position, but when they've done this Gyro Tiny, the Tiny's been more of the mid-game tempo controller, while the Sylar Gyrocopter tries to take more farm, but Sylar's not really keeping up too well. He's already had 5 deaths this game, and we're just 23 minutes in.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're... You know, it would be easier if one was just, okay, you're the designated farmer, you focus on stacking ancients, you focus on farming up your jungle camps. Speaking of which... We should take a look at the Dire Woods here as there's a charge in. We'll have to hold that thought. Going right through Suniko. He's going to bash him on the way. Does he stop for the dust? No, he just keeps on going. Funnick throwing out the Yule Scepter there. And now a Static Storm. Can they glimpse him back in? You betcha. Dendi waiting with the raises. And Yao's YOLO dive starting to get punished here as he continues to just go in deep on his own.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do. At least it's, for LGD, they're thinking, okay, it's just Yao. It's not Maybe, who's had a big kill streak to his name. He's 4-1-7 and getting close to that Aghanim Scepter. And that's where the Tiny's kind of pulled ahead, at least a little bit ahead of the Gyrocopter as far as where the farm priority is going, because Maybe's just been so successful in his rotations and ganks. Sylar, a few just kind of overextensions. There was the bottom tier 1 tower where he gets a kill on Disruptor that ends up under the tier 1 and pays for it with his life. So it just doesn't feel like Sylar is that comfortable when he's forced to play this aggressive style, go for kills as much as maybe is.
Oh, there's your BKB from Dendi. Maybe starting to take a lot of damage here. There is a Yule Scepter, but with the Aegis, not the hair that you want to commit on too much. And the Tiny gets Yule so that he can't actually cancel the Requiem. He's kept out of the fight. Now Funnick on the run, but he's being charged. What do you know? 5 heroes again, chasing after Na'Vi, hunting them everywhere they go, and Yao will complete it, clinches the kill, and gets a lot of gold there. 664. It's very rare that we don't see just a big clump of LGD heroes balling across the map as a squad. I mean, they have so much mobility. They can just do it and then go right back to farming.
Well, that's the great thing as well about the Spirit Breaker pick, is it just gives them that hero that can be just omnipresent on the map. You need him there, well, or you kind of play around wherever he's charging, which was exactly the case there with the Tiny already in the bottom lane, the relocate coming in as well. And another charge mid lane.
Again, this time on Artstyle. Is he going to see it in time for the glimpse? No, he had his eyes forward. Denny is there with the Yules, ready to go, but now maybe rotates in. He's able to get off the toss-up on Denny. I think the BKB is still cooling down from the earlier fight. Bottom, he won't be able to use it. 3 dead for Na'Vi. LGD storm down the middle lane. They've got eyes on a tier 2 and maybe more, and all of a sudden, what do you know? Maybe he's got an Ags, and LGD put themselves firmly in the driver's seat.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful this part, because this is where a lost team fight leads to quick towers for LGD with an Ags Tiny coming up. So Na'Vi up until now had the overall net worth advantage, but this is going to even things up with the tier 2 tower. So Na'Vi just going to have to make sure that they can kind of fine-tune some of the fights that they are playing around. They've still got a lot of potential with this farm Queen of Pain. About to hit BKB. Dendi already sitting on BKB and Blink Dagger. Their team fight for Na'Vi is very scary. You lead with an Axe Call. You have a Static Storm follow-up, 2 BKB cores.
We just haven't seen those Havost initiations this game. He's sitting 1, 2, and 6. But honestly, I feel like a lot of those assists